without. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favourite apple cakes. This is my apple crunch cake. This is fabulous the entire year round. In summer, I love to have it with fresh cream or ice cream. In winter, I like to have it with custard. All right, so first off, this cake calls for apple. You can use fresh apple that you prepare, and I'll put the notes for that in the recipe. Today I'm using some stewed apple that I had in the fridge. You can also use tinned apple, so pie apple. So whichever you have and is easiest, use that. So armed with a cup of coffee, I can't wait to show you how to make one of my favorite cakes. Let's get cooking. First step is to make the crunchy topping. We want to combine all the ingredients and then put it into the fridge so it gets nice and cool. That's the secret to a good crunch topping. So go ahead and add the cinnamon to the melted butter. Then add the flour. Then add the almond meal. Then go ahead and just dump in the sugar. Using a spatula, give it a really good mix. Sometimes it needs a helping hand just to form the little clumps. So just go ahead and add a bit more flour, maybe a tablespoon at a time, just to get the right consistency. So this is pretty much what you want. Small clumps forming in the bottom of your bowl. It's ready to go in the fridge. Right, let's get started on the cake batter. Add the softened butter to the mixing bowl and give it a little whip before you add the sugar. Now go ahead and add the caster sugar. You want to beat this until the sugar has dissolved and the butter and sugar mixture has become pale and much lighter than when you started. Pause every now and again to scrape down the sides of the bowl. This will ensure that the butter and sugar are incorporated well. Add the eggs one at a time. Make sure each egg is fully incorporated before adding the next egg. If the mixture begins to look like it's curdling or splitting a bit, don't worry, this can happen from time to time and it doesn't affect how the cake comes out in the end. Again, pause and scrape down the sides of the bowl just to make sure that any butter that's caught on the sides is fully incorporated into the mixture. Now go ahead and add the vanilla. Now go ahead and add the almond meal. Now add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Then add the flour, quickly followed by the buttermilk or milk vinegar alternative. Yep, be careful when you're adding the buttermilk. It just might splash out of the bowl. Okay, so you're pretty much done. Just give it a little mix and then turn the stand mixer off or your hand beaters off, and we're going to fold through the apple. Dump in the apple pieces to the mixing bowl and using a very light touch, fold the apple through the batter. Be careful not to overwork the mixture. Now, grab your baking tin and pour the batter into the tin. Because the batter is on the thick side, I tend to scoop out the mixture into the baking tin, making sure that it covers the base And then I smooth out the top using my spatula, moving the batter right to the edges of the baking tin. So it's ready for the oven. 170 degrees for a fan forced oven or 180 degrees for a conventional oven. As you can tell, I haven't put the crunch on yet. The cinnamon crunch or crumble will go on halfway through the cooking time. So let's pop it in the oven. At the 25-minute mark, take the cake out of the oven and sprinkle the crunch topping on top of the cake. I tend to put a thicker coating around the edges of the cake and a lighter coating in the middle. This is because the edges have usually started to bake and the middle is still a little wobbly and you don't want the crumble to sink to the bottom of the cake. Place the cake back in the oven and cook for another 20 minutes. Okay, so that's just over 40 minutes the cake's been in the oven. I'm just going to check whether or not it's cooked in the middle using a skewer. Comes out clean. So that is ready to go, and the cinnamon coming off that topping is really smelling very delicious. I can be very hungry. Okay, so here's the cake fresh out of the oven, my ice cream, and I cannot wait. As you can tell, I couldn't wait to dig in, but that is absolutely delicious. A winner every time. And when I make this for other people, they also love it. So I hope you give it a go and I hope you enjoy.